Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. In this video I will discuss the situation in Syria and the Houthis. Alright, the Houthis are not dead and the Syrian people are celebrating, or some Syrian people are celebrating the way the Iraqis celebrated, some Afghanis celebrated, some Libyans celebrated, and then what happened? Go and check it out. See if it's better than before. Now, maybe you would ask this question. Why is the United States of America, and is not the only country, that conducts strikes inside a sovereign independent country, in this case Syria? I will show you a title that is very laughable. Here it is. Comes from Business Insider, from Mr. Jake Epstein, from December 10th. The US is striking targets across Syria. It doesn't lay any blame, or it just strikes. Obviously, Epstein is okay with that because Israel is next door. And it isn't the only one dropping bombs in this uncertain moment. Okay, Mr. Epstein. All right, it's not the only one. Is Romania doing it? Is Bangladesh doing? Is Argentina doing? Is Brazil doing? Is Russia doing? Who's doing it? Well, I tell you who's doing. The United States of America, probably Great Britain, Israel, and Turkey. That's it. Why these countries? Well, is it because you want to make sure that after you overthrow a government, that government doesn't have the possibility to strike back at you, therefore being at your orders? So you destroy the capability of a country, whomever comes in charge of Syria, and not being able to, oppose, let's say, Israel? Or maybe, Turkey? Is that what it is? So when they say here, it isn't the only one dropping bombs, illegally, mind you. Syria is a registered trademark with the United Nations, isn't it? Now, when you say that the Russians are dropping bombs in Ukraine for an unprovoked war and so on, what gives you the right to have deployed troops over there for at least 10 years? I'm talking about the Americans. Or Israel to strike continuously in Syria. I know, in self-defense. But if you can do it in self-defense, can everybody else do it in self-defense? Or do you own the self-defense as the crown of perpetual victims? All right, let's see what's going on here. American warplanes pounded Syria with airstrike as the Assad regime fell on Sunday. It didn't just fall. It was Mr. Epstein who celebrates that. I'm guaranteeing you, Mr. Epstein celebrates this. He's happy probably, but I don't care if he's happy. We're here to discuss what happened here. Assad regime fell because of the same guys who are pounding Syria. They hit dozens of targets in support of the anti-ISIS mission, which officials say will continue. So we are over there for good intentions, all right? We overthrow, or government was overthrown by these guys, by rebels supported by us, and we bomb. What gives us the right? Is there United Nations, is there any resolution or anything that gives you the right to bomb inside of country if that country has a change of regime change or a bloody coup? If it's so, then Russia is somehow justified in bombing, let's say, after the coup d'etat, let's say in 2014 in Kiev, in Ukraine. Were the Russians entitled to hit targets in Ukraine because it was a turmoil and uncertain situation in Kiev? Were they entitled? And if not, why not? And if why it gives you now the right but did not give them the right then? This is called just justice. If I can do something, then you can do the same thing in the same circumstance. And I don't see much of a difference when a government in Kiev is overthrown with the help of Al Capone. A government is overthrown in Syria with the help of Al Capone. These guys shoot targets in Syria, but the other guys were not. Look over the map and see where the United States of America is and where Syria is. And look also where Russia is and Ukraine is. So who would be more entitled to be concerned about the turmoil or instability or uncertain situation in, I don't know, Ukraine, for instance? Here it is. They hit dozens. The US isn't the only military conducting strikes amid the uncertain situation. Who could those be? I tell you, Israel and Turkish forces. Why? Well, why would they do this? They want to make sure that the guys that are taking over will follow orders. That's what it is. Now, let's see what the interim prime minister of Syria has to say. They have a prime minister who says, well, I'm in charge somehow. Well, let's see what he has to say. Sputnik, acting Syrian prime minister says interim government formed will operate until early 2025. Really? Do you think these guys will allow it? Remember, the leaders, club of a state, United States of America, of a country, said publicly many times that Assad, the leader of another country, independent sovereign, with its own garbage, must go. They decided that he must go. Now imagine that, let's say, China said, the President of the United States of America must go. What do you think these media operatives will say? None of your business. Oh, that's a declaration of war. That's meddling in our internal affairs. What's going on? Unless you think that you are in charge. Did anybody appointed the United States of America as being in charge? I don't remember that happening. It appointed itself. That tells you how just these guys are. And these guys are just, we're going to be formed, we'll operate. Who gives you this authority? If the Americans or Israel wants, that's going to happen. If they don't, you're out. You are out. Now let me show you this little article from Russia Today. This is from the 10th of December 2024. US hypocrisy reaches a new level. Israel's occupation of Syria is quote-unquote security. Russia's moves in Ukraine are quote-unquote aggression. Netanyahu's reasoning for his latest land grab lays bare the stark hypocrisy of his Western supporters. No, his Western vassal states. Yes, how is that a-okay? I tell you, there's two reasons. One, we are the perpetual victims. The other one is self-defense, to protect ourselves. And although these two things, you can't apply to any other country, unless the United States of America decides, yes, you can, since the United States of America is in charge. Since when? So again, I think it's hypocritical. I would say it's criminal. It is criminal. What's happening in Gaza? I'm listening. What's going on in Gaza? These guys were claiming, oh my God, the neighboring states don't take the refugees. Why should that be refugees? Why should there be refugees in the first place? If someone attacks me here in the home, you're not going to blame the neighbor for not getting my kids and everybody else to their house. They will blame these guys who destroy me here that make me go over there. But they go from a primary situation or issue to the secondary issue, which is, why don't the good Arabs, get their Palestinians? Not, hey, why are these guys with our bombs doing what they do? And let me show you now what the Houthis did. This is according to Sputnik. Yemeni Houthis, the bad dudes obviously, carry out attacks on 2 US destroyers, supply ships in the Gulf of Aden. Okay, where is the Gulf of Aden? This is the map of the Middle East. This is Yemen right here. As you can tell, this is United States of America here, this is United States of America here and here. So it's all United States of America surrounding Yemen, right? No, and nevertheless, we have to protect our commerce. For whom exactly? For whom exactly? So here is Gulf of Aden. So here the Houthis from here, the western part of Yemen, attacked our destroyers who are just protecting us, our freedoms and our way of life and families and so on. That's the way you're supposed to think about these things. I'm not saying these guys are good people whatsoever. I'm not saying that. But I don't think these guys, where are they? I don't think these guys are doing the best they can to be good people. Let's put it mildly. So let's read this article from Sputnik. Yemen's Pop movement, also known as Houthis, said on Tuesday that it carried out rocket and drone attacks on US destroyers, plural, and supply ships in the Gulf of Aden. And I'm quoting, the naval UAV and the missile forces of the Yemeni armed forces carried out a specific military operation targeted 3 American supply ships after they left the port of Djibouti and had previously practiced their aggression against Yemen. It also targeted 2 American destroyers in the Gulf of Aden that were accompanying supplying ships. The operation was carried out with a number of missiles and drones, and the operation has successfully achieved its objectives. Okay, so it says that the Houthis also carried out 2 military operations targeting military targets in Jaffa and Ashkelon areas in occupied Palestine. So, these guys in charge of us will come and tell us through their media operatives that we are attacked. Therefore, we're going to defend you. It's always like this. But have you seen our territory next to Yemen? Did you see that? And if you say, well, it's our interest, can any other country on this planet have interests? Let's say Russia. Can Russia have interest? Let's say in Ukraine, since Ukraine is like this next to it. Or we have interest 7,000 miles away from our shores, but they cannot have to their neighboring country? Well, that's called hypocrisy. That's not justice whatsoever. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.